Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I appreciate everyone logging in here today. And first, an introduction. My name is Mike Pollock, and I'm the Director of Franchise Development here for ShelfGenie. And over the next roughly 30 minutes, I'm going to go through and give you an overview of the ShelfGenie business model. I'm going to cover some of the high-level bullet points. I'm going to talk about really why owners have done as well as they have in this economy, and finally talk about next steps at the end, where if this is something you'd like to pause on, or if it's something you're maybe going to pass on if it's not a good fit, or if it's something you're wanting to play. We'll really map out what the next steps as far as digging in and continuing to do due diligence on ShelfGenie. So let's get started. Okay, a little history on the company. ShelfGenie started in 2000. We're a manufacturer, and actually Andrew Kerwin, the founder, this is kind of a rags to riches story where he started this in his parents' garage back in 2000, and in a very short time outgrew the garage and moved into a small manufacturing facility, and has moved several times since then, and of course the rest is history. The 2007, the manufacturing plant was purchased by a group of successful dealers at the time, and in 2008 launched the franchise model. Andrew Kerwin, who still is heavily involved in the business today. We tap into his knowledge of installations. He actually comes out and does all the training of installers, typically about once a month when we do installation training. So Andrew still is very an integral part in the business, and it's nice to have the person who started the company to be as involved as Andrew is. Okay, business description. If you were to ask our customers what it is that we do, really it's providing more space, easier access, and better organization. In fact, those three questions are leading questions when we go in to make a visit to a customer. We'll ask them, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, what's the most important to you? Is it more space? Is it being able to access your things? Is it to better organize your home? Why did you call us into your home? And typically, in fact, not even typically, it's always one of those three reasons as to why people invite us in. We are a manufacturer. As I mentioned before, we started in Richmond, Virginia. In 2009, we moved from Richmond, Virginia, manufacturing to Atlanta. And since then, we've expanded to 2 more plants, one in Orange County, California, and one in the Dallas, Texas area. At the moment, we have no national competition. We're in a very similar boat to what California Closets was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, if you wanted to have your closet organized, you could have gone to Home Depot. You could have purchased modules, put in the modules yourself, or maybe hired a handyman to come in and put the modules in. And California Closets was the first company to put a brand name to the Organize Your Closet space. And of course, you fast forward 10 years to today. California closet, or the closet industry, of course, is a pretty significant industry. There's some very large competitors out there, but California Closets continues to remain the industry leader. And we are in a very similar boat right now to where California Closets was 10 years ago, where we don't have any national competition. Most of what our franchisees run into in terms of competition are really these small 1- or 2-man shops that are either maybe buying some product somewhere and going out and installing, or they're maybe building product out of their garage, and that's typically what our franchise owners run into. Again, good question to ask franchisees when you're chatting with them. If this ends up being a business of interest, certainly we're going to want you to talk to franchisees. We have a very low overhead model and very scalable, and you're going to see some of the systems and some of the tools in place, but we virtually turned every cost into a variable cost directly related to sales. We've turned the marketing costs directly related to sales. We've turned the labor costs directly related to sales, as well as operations. And again, we'll touch on that here shortly. We provide a very niche product within the very mature industry of remodeling. And if you notice on the pictures there, that's pretty typical of what we do with our, or in a customer's home. Is the left picture is pretty typical of what a customer's pantry would look like, and the right side is pretty typical of what it looks like after we're done. So a pretty high impact home improvement is what we provide. Okay, I want to talk about customers, and these next couple of slides are really going to focus on the customers, because as great as our systems and tools are, if you don't have customers that are purchasing your product, it doesn't really matter how great and excellent the operations run. You're not going to have any customers to perform operations for. So, and I think when we go through these next couple of slides where I describe our different demographics, you'll get a good understanding as to why our owners have done as well as they have, because there's really no magic bullet. The reason our owners have done well is because we've got a pretty broad customer base that purchase from us. So to start with, we really have two major buckets of customer that purchase from us, and then there's several derivations within each bucket. But that bucket, the first one, I call it a luxury customer, and the second bucket is a necessity customer. And I'm going to give some examples of each here shortly. But to start with, I'm going to talk about the luxury customers. First customer is, I call it the home upgrade customer. One example of a home upgrade customer is somebody who's just put in a closet system or a garage system. Any customer of any of these closet companies or any of these garage organizing companies is a great lead for us. Typically, when you're organizing your closet, that is in most cases a luxury item. Someone who's organizing their closet, they've got organizing on the mind, and they're spending money actually in a space that's pretty low-use room as the closet, and there's just not a big jump to go from organize my closet to organize my kitchen, or a jump from organize my garage to organize my kitchen. And so really for you as an owner, one of the companies that you're going to want to make sure you go out and network with are all the closet companies and all the garage companies, because they don't do what we do, and we don't do what they do, and it becomes a great referral partner back and forth, their customers and our customers. The next home upgrade customer is really, I'm going to say this is the middle class, although it really spreads across quite a few different, say, income levels. But when you look at what people used to do here prior to the 900-point stock market several years ago, prior to the 900-point stock market drop, if you wanted to make an improvement in your home, typically you did one of two things. You either sold your house and bought a new one, right, upgrade to home 2.0, or you pulled out that home equity line of credit and you stroked a $50,000 check, and you gutted your kitchen, you started from scratch, and you had basically a brand new kitchen at the end of that at the end of the transaction. Neither of those activities is happening in this economy. Most of America still is employed. They're just stuck where they are. House values have gone down. In most cases, they've lost their home equity lines of credit. To spend $50,000 on an asset that's just depreciated is somewhat painful. And because they're upside down, they don't have the option of selling their home and buying a new one, and they certainly aren't going to spend that kind of money doing a full remodel. But what they are spending money on in this economy, again, they're still employed. Most of America still is employed. They're just watching where they're spending their money, and where they're choosing to spend money is on these lower cost, high impact type of home improvements. They're picking and choosing one or two things to do in their kitchens or in their bathrooms. They're saying things like, I'm just going to replace only my countertops right now. I'm just going to maybe reface my cabinets. I'm just going to put in flooring, or I'm just going to do wallpaper or what have you. And we fall right into that same retrofit your existing kitchen or your existing cabinets in your kitchen. We become a very low-cost home improvement. And again, this is I would still put this into the bucket of a luxury customer, but this one of upgrading their kitchen just because they, historically they would have sold their house or done a major remodel, that customer in today's market is choosing to do a smaller home improvement, and we fall right in line with that customer. And again, good question to ask franchise owners. But this middle-class home upgrade customer is another really good one for us in this economy. Now I'm going to jump over to our needs-based customers. I talked a little bit about the luxury customers. The needs-based customers, these are folks that are actually putting glide-out shelves in not because they wanted an organized kitchen. They're putting glide-outs in not because they just want to spruce their home up even. And this, in most cases, these guys are putting them in because they need them. They need something in their home to help them out. And seniors and disabled, and I'm going to group those two together. Not that seniors are disabled, but the older you get, the more debilitating life becomes. And whether it's, at least for seniors, aging in place is kind of the buzzword right now, where seniors are just trying to stay in their home as long as they can, really stay in their home versus going to a home. And they're often making home modifications such as putting handles in showers. They're widening doorways. They got wheelchair ramps going in. They're putting accessibility items into their home, and that's exactly where we fall in. They're putting glide-out shelves in such that they can get to the things in their home. What we've learned is buying habits really have become largely unaffected. You don't put a wheelchair ramp in because the economy is doing good. Same thing with glide-out shelves. They're not putting glide-out shelves because the economy is doing bad or good. They're putting glide-out shelves because it's something that they need. Many of our seniors, they're on fixed incomes, and again, they're picking and choosing these necessity items, and we really fall right in line with types of improvements that they're making, and we haven't seen really a change in their buying habits even prior to the stock market drop here a couple years ago. I talk a little bit about baby boomers because baby boomers actually fall on both sides of the curve. They in some cases are still, it's a luxury purchase, and in some cases it's a necessity. To talk a little bit about the luxury first is what often happens when baby boomers, for them, their lifestyle becomes very important in this economy. Lifestyle, very important. There are some things that they're cutting out of their spending habits, but this was actually in 2010. CNBC had done a story on baby boomers spending, and just to pull a quote out from that story, I'm going to read it here. It's the expected deceleration of consumer spending will contain a significant exception. Traveling, dining, and things that boomers can experience will do very well. Home renovations and improvements will also be strong, as boomers will opt to retrofit their houses for their new lifestyles. And again, this is a good question to ask franchise owners, but boomers become a really good customer demographic for us. Even the baby boomers that are in very good shape, and it's not painful to bend down and reach things down below or what have you. To talk a little bit about baby boomers on the necessity side, a good baby boomer customer, another good baby boomer customer is one that's just downsized. A lot of these downsizing customers will often keep their nice things when they move into their smaller home. It's just human nature. You've collected nice things your whole life. Your kids are out of the house. You move into a smaller home. You don't get rid of half of your things just because your home is half the size. What happens is once they've lived in their new, now smaller home for a couple of months, 3 to 6 months, they'll call us up, and really the question, or the comments that these customers will ask us or tell us is, I can't stand this new house. I can't get to any of my things. I am miserable, and if you can't help me with my storage problems, and for them it's not the storage space, it just becomes the access space. The smaller home just doesn't have as much storage, and they're not putting glide-out shelves in because they've always wanted an organized kitchen or a bathroom or a closet or wherever it is they're having challenges. They just can't get to any of their things. So baby boomers really fall on both sides of the curves, and of course we all know baby boomer demographic is one of the larger ones out there. Actually, another I had one of our franchisees actually said that baby boomers is code for soon-to-be senior, which of course is also one of our needs-based customers. So baby boomers are a great friend to ShelfGenie. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the money. I know a lot of you are interested in that. First of all, we're looking for single territory or multi-territory owners. We're not offering masters. We don't need a layer of management in between us and our franchise owners. The territories are just too large for us to even think of needing to do that. Franchise fees $45,000 is the fee for the first territory. Additional territories are $36,000. Most of our owners have opted to buy more than one territory. If you're one of the folks that are looking to in an area where there's a territory available and you are wanting to expand to more than one, additional territories, 36,000. Territory sizes, minimum 250,000 homes. Usually that's in that 700, 800,000 population range. Our royalty fees, it's 4% royalty. We are collecting a 2% ad fund, and that 2% really does get spent on either tools or products or things that our franchisees can use. And I'm going to talk in a little bit about our marketing and PR efforts that 2% gets spent on. Total investment is in that. Most of our owners are spending in that $70,000 range. Some have gotten higher than that if they're buying vehicles or having to build out home office space. But again, most of them aren't buying new cars nor are they building new office space. Most of them are in that $70,000 range. Everything within our cost is variable. As I referred to a couple slides ago, almost every expense is directly related to sales, and these 4 items are we call them key performance indicators. These are the types of data points you're going to want to get from franchisees when you chat with them. You're going to want to get cost per lead, how much they're paying for advertising, and the effectiveness of advertising. You're going to want to get their close rate, how good are their sales folks at sales, average job size, and how much they're spending in marketing. If you can get those 4 items from a franchise owner, that really will help you build a pretty accurate top-level line revenue number. I want to talk a little bit about a couple tools and resources we have in place that help our owners really scale this business up. First is our Business Support Center. Business Support Center is a call center in Atlanta. It is at our headquarters, and they're employees of ours that will basically field all of your incoming calls as a result of advertising that you're doing or any lead activity or any networking or activity that you're performing in your territory to get the phone ringing. All those ring to our Business Support Center. And as we field the calls, we become your customer service. We become really your booking agents. We book sales appointments for your designers. We do reminder calls. We do welcome calls to your prospects. We really become that first line support, helping your sales designers as well as your installers. Our phone system is pretty sophisticated. Every advertisement that you do will have a unique phone number, a unique 800 phone number, and we literally have hundreds of 800 numbers that are ringing to our call center. So if you decide you're going to advertise in a local newspaper, there will be a unique phone number in that you'll use in the ad that goes into the newspaper, and when it rings to our Business Support Center, we'll actually know, based on that phone number, what newspaper ad this caller is calling from, and all of that gets entered into our back office system, which I'll talk about shortly. But not only that, when the phone comes in, that call is actually routed to a regional specialist who's going to be very, very knowledgeable and up to speed on specifics of your area. And we staff that phone system. It's 12 hours a day, Monday through Friday. We also have 8 hours on Saturday. And during home show seasons in the fall and in the spring, we also will staff it on Sundays as well. But that Business Support Center is a pretty significant piece of the puzzle, and it's certainly worth asking franchise owners about when you talk to them. I want to talk about our back office. We refer to it as the Wish Portal. It's a play on words. Every CEO of every large organization wishes they had the type of information that our franchisees have at their fingertips. And since Genie's grant wishes, calling our back office the Wish Portal just really made a lot of sense, and we love it. But really, this Wish Portal, quite frankly, puts everything that you need to run your business at your fingertips. It is a web-based system that is a CRM tool for your designers. It's a scheduling tool for your designers. It's a job tracking tool for your installers. It completely runs our Business Support Center, and when we're booking appointments, we're actually using the schedule that your designers have put in as far as availability. We're booking the appointments for them right here on this Wish portal. It's a real-time scheduling tool for us on the call center. It is a full ERP system. It completely runs our manufacturing plant. And for you as the franchise owner, it really is a beat the numbers to death. You're going to have very fast data points such as sales and close rates for your designers. You're going to know what all your costs were as far as your lead costs and the ROI of marketing campaigns. You're going to know where every job is in the queue. We've got a dashboard for franchise owners where within a matter of a few minutes, you're going to know exactly what's going on operationally, and you're going to know if you need to step in and help out. Basically, we color code everything, green, yellow, and red. And if every one of your jobs in the queue are in the green status, for the most part, your operational job is done for the day. Nothing is getting close to the time, the maximum time that it should take at any one of the steps within the job queue, and there's no need for you as the owner to get involved. This Wish portal integrates seamlessly with QuickBooks, and it also will your designers and your installers, when they collect final payments, they'll actually put all the payment information right into the Wish portal. So this, in conjunction with our call center, is really what makes this such a scalable model and allows the owner to be able to focus on growth, be able to focus every day on networking and marketing and being a mentor and doing those activities that I would say a typical CEO of a company would do. Something we've always been very good at is getting the phone to ring. We have very proven marketing and advertising programs. You can see these are a couple examples here on the screen, but very impactful marketing. We really help every aspect of helping you design your marketing campaign. I'm going to talk about it on the next slide, but we'll sit down with you and make sure that you've got a very effective media mix from print to radio to television. We constantly give advice, guidance, and counsel and make sure that you're getting a good ROI on any marketing activities that you do. But we have a director of marketing. Her name is Courtney, and Courtney has, she'll be your first line of defense when it comes to where am I going to go to procure leads. She has media buyers on staff, and what's neat about media buyers is they've been able to tap into things like remnant space programs. So if you're someone who's comfortable media buying and how to go in and negotiate the best deal, you can certainly do it yourself. If you're not that kind of person, you've got Courtney and her staff of folks that will really be able to help you go in there and get the best cost on marketing programs. But everything from newspapers to Valpak to money mailer to we've even got deals with Verizon and City Pub. And again, Courtney will sit down with franchisees on the very front end and help you put together a 3-month, 6-month, 12-month, 2-year kind of marketing strategy together. And again, we're very aggressive when it comes to the marketing side of things. Part of that 2% advertising fund goes towards paying a PR firm. Sanderson Consulting is a PR firm that we have partnered with. They've given us really a lot of national exposure, as well as a lot of our franchisees have gotten some excellent local exposure. These are just a couple of places that we've been featured on nationally. But if you Google ShelfGenie, you'll often find a lot of these articles that our franchise owners in their local publications have been listed in. And in fact, if you do end up coming to one of our discovery days, in our entryway of our headquarters, we've actually got stories. The entire hallway on our entryway are stories that our franchise owners have had that were done on them in their local markets. So the PR firm, very aggressive. When you become a franchise owner, they will aggressively go after getting news reporters to do a story on you when you go into your marketplace. We've had a lot of national recognition, and these are a couple of them that that really stick out for us. 2009 and 2010, we were honored by the National Association of Professional Organizers as the best organizing product, and we beat out a couple of pretty big name companies like Rubbermaid in the Container Store was a pretty big blow to them winning 2 years in a row. But NAPO is an organization that we're pretty heavily involved in nationally. Our CEO, Alan Young, as well as our president, Barry, we've always had one of them on the board of directors nationally. And what was interesting to me is who knew there was an organization of organizers. But there is, and again, nationally we're heavily involved. And what that really does is help you locally get involved in your local chapter. Most likely anyone that's involved in NAPO will have already heard of ShelfGenie because of our national exposure. We were recently ranked in Inc. 500 as the, well, we were ranked in the Inc. 500, which was a really big deal. Inc. 500 is not franchise companies, it's companies, period. And we were ranked in the Inc. 500 as in the top 500 companies in the country. And of the franchise companies in the Inc. 500, we were ranked as the third fastest growing franchise. Entrepreneur 500 in 2009, we were ranked 465. 2011, we were ranked 325. Franchise Business Review, we were ranked in 2011 as the top 50 in franchisee satisfaction for home services franchisors. So, and these are just a couple of these national recognition that will help get the phone ringing as well, and also provide some things that franchisees that are brand new in a marketplace have some instant credibility, even though you've not been in your own marketplace for very long, just because you're part of the ShelfGenie organization. These are a couple of bullet points that we're looking for when it comes to franchisee, a good candidate. The first is we're looking for a business builder. We're not looking for someone who's buying themselves a job. We want someone who wants to build a team of designers and installers and really focus on mentoring them and growing the business, sales initiatives and strategies to grow larger. We want folks that are going to be comfortable working within a system, within a proven and defined processes, really every day focused on sales and driving revenue. We've got a lot of systems and tools in place that will help with that, but we need owners that are going to want to pick up the reins and run with them. Business skills, having good communications, willing to learn and follow an established system. And lastly, and probably should be at the very top of the list, is being customer service focused. Again, these are just a couple of bullet points that we're looking for as a franchisee. What we expect owners to do on a daily basis, really first couple of months, 3 to 6 months, we're going to want the owners to run a lot of the sales appointments themselves, primarily because after the first couple of months, you'll bring in sales designers, and it's a lot easier to be a mentor to sales designers if you've actually been there and done that yourself. So the first several months, we're going to want you to do a lot of the sales yourself, and then again, you'll be mentoring designers down the road. Typically, designers are 1099. What we've found to be very consistent performers around the country are professional organizers, interior designers. We've found stay-at-home moms to be very effective, but it's going to be managing those kinds of folks down the road. Also going to be managing installers. Often that's a handyman or a firefighter, cabinet makers that become outstanding installation partners, where really our installers, what they look for and what they get out of being a ShelfGenie installer is they get exposure to customers that they never would have had for their existing business. For a handyman, as an example, a handyman it's not a unique problem, but one of the challenges that a handyman has when they go in to bid on a job, they bid on the job, they walk out of the customer's home, and they cross their fingers hoping they were the lowest bidder. And a ShelfGenie installer, on the other hand, who's just gone in and done a phenomenal installation job, suddenly now that installer, who also happens to be a handyman, they've got to step up above everyone else. They can charge more money in almost every case. They can charge more money for their other services. And most of our franchisees actually formalize that arrangement, and they'll say, hey, if you land any extra business, Mr. Installer, pay us a finder's fee. Pay us some sort of a marketing finder's fee, and do a fantastic job of ShelfGenie such that you get more business at that customer's home. The other activity that owners we're expecting them to do is go out and develop partnerships with referral partners, geriatric physicians, physical therapists, cabinet makers, all the closet companies that I referred to earlier. Those are what we want owners really focused on a daily task. Once they've got designers and installers in place, when things are running and operations are done for the day, we want you to get out there and make sure that people know who you are and what you do, and to refer leads to you, and you can refer leads back to them. And lastly, but certainly not least, is overseeing the marketing efforts. Again, we've got the back office, the Wish portal, that really helps owners figure out as to whether or not they're going to continue advertising in any particular venue. And we want owners to make sure they keep really tight tabs on what the ROI is of every advertising piece that they're doing. And, of course, do more of what works and do less of what doesn't. You know, that's really the end of this presentation. The next steps, if after listening to this it still sounds like something you'd like to pause on, maybe timing isn't right, or maybe you realize, boy, no way on earth am I going to do this business, and you want to pass on it, or if it's something that sounds like it might be a good fit and you want to play, really the next steps are pretty simple. It's send me a note, send us a note, and we'll coordinate an initial phone meeting with one of our development staff. We'll send out a marketing kit to you. One of the things we're going to be asking from you is to fill out an application, and this is dictated by the FTC, that we receive information back on folks. And just to let you know, there is some financial information that we need back, and really what it is, the FTC, they require that we make a reasonable determination that people are not spreading themselves too financially thin by being a ShelfGenie franchise owner. But certainly we'll get you out an application. Actually, there's one that will be included even in the marketing kit that comes to you. Next steps would be to review our franchise disclosure document. If you've not ever read a franchise disclosure document, I will tell you now, you're in for a treat. It's 150 pages of cure for insomnia, and we certainly will review that. Want to review you to review it, and then we'll want to review it with you. And then it's really starting due diligence. After reviewing that FDD, it's getting in front of primarily getting in front of franchise owners, and we'll send you the complete list of franchisees with phone numbers and addresses and email addresses. But we find it very useful to have a lot of knowledge on the front end prior to calling franchise owners, primarily because they're very busy. The more knowledge you have, the shorter your conversations will be with them, which if you end up becoming a franchise owner, you'll absolutely appreciate short conversations versus our franchisees teaching you the business. There's a lot of things that we can talk to you about and make sure that you understand. There's a lot of things that we can't talk to you about, like how much money can I make? Those are the questions you're going to want to ask our franchise owners. Next step, after talking to franchisees, if it still looks like something that might be a good fit for you, is coming out to visit us in Atlanta to one of our Discovery Days. Coming out to Discovery Day, it's not a razzle-dazzle, try and talk you into a timeshare. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I call it Healthy Dose of Reality Day. We go through a lot of information in a very short time, very in-depth overview of our business. You get a chance to see the product, see the technology, meet the senior staff. The goal is you walk away with most of your questions answered and have a really good understanding of what a day in the life of an owner is really like. And typically after Discovery Day, you have a pretty good sense as to whether or not this is or isn't going to be a good fit. And you'll finalize territories, and we'll get you out franchise agreements and open your business. And that's all that. That's all that I have. I appreciate everyone logging in here. My contact information is right there. If you'd like to coordinate a time to have an initial meeting, would love to hear from you. Go ahead and drop me an email, and you'll hear back either from myself or from one of our development staff to get you moving through the process. Thanks.